Welcome to the Have Patients OPD and IPD module. We are going to demonstrate to you how the OPD module functions. So this is going to be the main screen of your OPD module, where you'll have a combo box where you need to select the user along with its password. So once you enter the right password, you'll be taken to the main screen and the menus will open up. So these are shortcut buttons out here. You have the home, administration, setup, and OPD transactions menu. So to create a new OPD, when the patient either walks into the hospital reception or he may be having an appointment, so when the patient comes to the reception, the user out there may need to create a new OPD for him. So on clicking of this button, a new form opens up for creating the OPD for that patient. Now the patient, if he's already visited your hospital, you may already have his mobile number or his full name registered with you. So let's consider that you already have his name registered in this system. So let's take Rohi. For example, there's a lady, Rohi Thakur, who's already been to the hospital. So on selecting the name, the system goes and brings all her details like her age, the gender, and this is today's date. That's the OPD date. You can enter her COVID temperature, and you get a picture of the patient if you have already got that. And here's an OPD code which gets automatically generated. Now, this lady or this patient may require an appointment, so you may need to take the appointment time slot. So for example, if the 5 p.m. to 5:30 p.m. time slot is okay, you can select that. And this appointment is for which doctor? So let's say for Dr. Avnish Deshmukh. And what's the treatment required? So you can say like arthritis, for example. And who has been referring this patient to the hospital? So you can put that doctor's name here, but this is not mandatory. Okay, so this is a place, and this is how an OPD record is created by the reception for the consulting doctor. So when this consulting doctor comes to the consulting room, he will get to see a list of all the OPDs that are scheduled for him. So once this is done, you can click on the save record, and then you can click on the add record. Okay, so this way you can add another OPD to the system. So let's come out of this form and assume that the doctor has just walked in. Okay, the doctor has just walked in, and when he logs into the system from here, and he goes to this button out here which says OPD patient queue today, check from consulting room. So this is the button he click. So the moment he clicks this, today's date, the current date, automatically gets entered for him, on which he clicks on the for doctor combo box, and he gets to see only his name as of now. So any doctor can get to see their names if any appointments get scheduled for them during this day. Okay, so you see, he'll see that one appointment was already pending, actually completed. This is actually was a test. We'll go with this one. Yeah, so you'll see that okay, there is one patient has a requirement for this kind of treatment, referred by this doctor, and this is the appointment time. So if the doctor would like to know more about this patient before he can call that patient in there, so he can just click on this patient record, and the system will open the patient's record, in which he'll get to know, okay, that this was a patient who had come earlier in the OPD. He met these doctors, and what was the treatment that patient had come for earlier, and he can also also get the IPD history if that patient was admitted in the hospital before. Okay, so right now there is no IPD history. If there are any remarks written by any doctor, so this is the patient's record. So here you get to see, okay, what allergies this patient has, what should be done and what should not be done with this patient. Okay, so it's just a patient record, personal record. So by the time the patient comes in his consulting room, then the doctor clicks on the go to OPD record. So this will take him to the record which was created by the reception. All right. So this is when now the doctor starts performing his consultation session. So he does his observation and he writes his observations. My observations XYZ, whatever. And this is the prescription which is physically written. Okay, so my physically typed prescription -1. So he can have multiple prescriptions written here, which is physically typed as per their practice. Now this can be also done using voice to text. I'll show it to you, but first let me just walk you through this process. Then they have the treatment billing details. So for example, if the doctor has performed some kind of work, so if he requires any other consultant, he can choose the name of that consultant and his consulting charges. So this is what the doctor has, the treatment the doctor has performed, and how much is he going to charge. So supposing he's charging 500, and this is what the amount paid, which has to be written by the cashier at the cash counter when the patient pays this amount. Okay, so that's the amount which is being charged by the doctor. Then if there is any sonography required, this is integrated with sonography, radiology, pathology, all these departments, but right now we are not going through that particular process. Then the medicines which the doctor is consulting, supposing okay there is some injection which needs to be given, and at what time of the day, night, like say after dinner, what is the dosage, let's say one injection, then you can say time 2, time 3. Okay, so this injection has to be given for how long, what's the duration, for a day, 1 week, 1 month, 1 year. So let's say 1 week, we've given that. And then in the treatment follow-ups, you can tell the patient, okay, come and meet me after 7 days, after a week. So this date is automatically created 7 days from today's date, and fix a follow-up appointment. So this is what the doctor has done, and now he can tell the patient to leave and go and make the payment at the counter. So once that's done, he just saves it and closes the form. Okay, now the status will still show work in process. So the patient will go to the cash counter. So that's when the cash counter people, the account section mostly, they have been given a separate button here called cash collection. Okay, so they will click on this button at the start of the day, and they will have a list of all the patients who will come to them to make the payment. So they will make a filter which says either pending, work in process, and bills not paid. So this will be a common filter. So if you see, there is this was our patient who had come and he's not paid. Okay, and that's the doctor who had consulted him, the consulting doctor. So when the patient comes to pay, all the accounts person has to do is select the record and click on go to OPD consulting. So his record gets fetched. Okay, then he gets to know how much is the amount to be collected, and he gets the amount from the patient. So if he gets like 450, so you get a balance of 50 rupees left for the patient. So the patient, when he comes next time to the hospital, we'll know that okay, a balance of 50 rupees is pending with him. But if the patient is paid full 500, then there's a zero balance. So once that happens, once that happens, the bill has to be printed. So the bill status is paid. So the moment I say paid, the work in process will become completed. All right, and then you can print the bill with the patient summary. You see, with the treatment summary here. So you have the your name of your hospital, the patient details, the bill details, his next appointment date, time, his current appointment date and time, the prescription details. If you remember, I typed this physically, the work done, the treatment done, amount charged, amount paid, amount balance. There are the medications, there are the medicine history as to, sorry, medicine details as to when this patient needs to have this medicine, what time of the day, and for how long. And this is the follow-up date, the next follow-up date the patient needs to come to the clinic or the hospital. Okay, so this is a bill which you can print. So when you click on print, you can choose your printer and just print it and give it to the patient. But if you want to have this thing mailed to the patient, you can click on email bill to patient. So if you see, there's a mail that's been created. You see, so the patient's email ID will come here. You get a subject line automatically created, and the bill which is created as a PDF and attached automatically. This is what will be received by the patient. All right. So it reduces a lot of work of printing and communicating with the patient. All right. So that's when the payment is done. So the status automatically changes to completed. All right. So this is the OPD process of identifying how to register a patient. Okay, and creating an OPD for that particular patient. Okay, you can edit existing OPDs. If you have to make any amendments, you can go back. Okay. If you see all the records of the OPDs, let's say Rohit Thakur, Rohit Thakur. Okay, so that patient's record is fetched. So unlike last time, I was trying to show you what if the patient's name doesn't exist. So when a new patient comes in and his name doesn't exist, the reception can always create that patient. So like say this is that's the mobile number. Okay, so you see one medical record number gets created along with a barcode, and then you can put in the date of birth. The age is automatically calculated, ex female, height 5.7, weight 70 kgs for example. Okay, so a patient's record is created automatically. You can have the patient's picture also put in, and that's when you can get to see that patient here. Okay, so you can create your patients on the fly. Okay, so this is just as a training, a small training session for creating an OPD and viewing the